What up, gang? Welcome back. Today we've got my favorite video to make each season, and that's the tier list video. A big one. There's like 80 different ground loot variations this season, so lots to get into. But first I want to say a big thanks to you all for the support. We hit 500 subs, so big milestone. Just thankful for everyone who's subbed, who's enjoyed the content and come along for the ride. So we're almost on 1 year for the channel, so it's been a fun ride, and we're gonna keep this train going. So a lot to get into today. If you like the content, please subscribe. Obviously we're continuing on to the next milestone, 600, and so please consider subscribing, and let's just dive right into it. All right, so you can see we've got a little different with the tier list. We've added something above Let's Go. Typically Let's Go is S tier, but this season everything's kind of been bumped. There's no gun that's just as good as a 1911. Everything's better than a 1911, and we've got a ton of meta loadout replacement guns. So we added a tier up above the S tier, so everything's kind of shifted down. Got my loadout gun, so let's get into it. AK 74U, obviously a really solid option. It's definitely a loadout level gun. It's got the barrel, it's got the suppressor, got the 40 round, super good option. I've got the rare version in A now. Let's go. It's not suppressed, but obviously still got 40 rounds. Even the uncommon version is really good. This would be A in other seasons, so this is a really good option. Just doesn't have the range, doesn't have the task force on it like the rare and up have. Amp's really good TTK. Only has 30 rounds, so that's what holds it back. It is suppressed, but 30 rounds, so it's like an elite deleting machine. It's like straddling A, but I think just because it doesn't have the mag capacity that a lot of other guns have, and especially in this season, it's in top of B. This amp, still a really good option, but it's probably more towards the bottom because it's not suppressed. This only has 15 rounds, so this is gonna be, yeah, I put it in the lowest tier because it only has 15 rounds, so you have to be super accurate, and you can't really miss anything. There are other guns that have just more ammo, but they may not be as effective, so I think it's up. Leave it there for now. This Cold War, just not very good. Just not very good. Not very fast killing. Yes, it's suppressed. Yes, it has plenty of rounds, but I'd rather have an amp than this. This Swiss is insane. Basically a meta Swiss. It does have the sound suppressor, so it's not as long range as a meta, but other than that, it's got the combat recon, it's got the bruiser, it's got serpent wrap, I believe. Yeah, it's got everything else that you'd want in a meta build. Got the 5 milliwatt, so this is probably number 1 or number 2 for me overall, as I am a sniper and a sniper support guy. Hauer is down. You know, it's, again, I always say, if you have the drop, if you've got the advantage and you get the first shot off without being shot at, then you'll get the job done. That's about it though. This Car V, I don't mind the Car V, but it's still not. Burst just can't compete right now. It's just too slow killing. So I've got it here. It's just a gun. It is suppressed though. Sigma always now C tier, but it's usually B tier. But everything, like I said, is shifted down because we got guns like this, the Breaker Mp5, like nearly a meta build. I think this does have the task force barrel, which actually, if you look on WZ ranked, most MP5 builds don't, because it does increase your recoil. So more range, worse recoil. I think most people, you're not gonna mind. It's still a really good gun for a ground loot, but I think you're actually gonna take the Epic over that one. This Diamante I have in the lowest tier, 15 rounds. So it's 15 rounds. I'd rather have a 15 round Diamante than a 15 round amp, but I would rather, you know, these are kind of, yes, this is faster killing than a Car V, but I would rather have more ammo and slower killing than faster killing, but only have 15 rounds. That's just me. I know some of you controller players might be like Diamatti savants. I know a lot of you are out there like that and can totally shred with that. These have 24 rounds, so they're in good shape. Definitely get the job done. And then this one is suppressed. So this is, for me, low B. I know for some of you, again, higher up, but for me, with pistols, with a mouse, it's not a fun adventure. This DMR is all right. DMR is okay as ground loot, as iron sighted. I think you can get the job done. It is much faster killing than the Car V and the other bursts, so that's why I have it here. I guess the case can be made. Many of you would take a Diamatti over this DMR. This DMR is okay. Same thing here. Just this has a titanium barrel, so it's gonna shoot faster. This rare has a 3x, so I got it. You might prefer the iron-sighted uncommon one to the 3x DMR. This just gives you a little more range. I think they'll get the job done in a certain distance. This is suppressed, so that's a lot, you know, slightly better. EM2, you know, it's, if you look on WZ rank, it's the KD for this is really good, and I think it's still considered one of the top long-range AR. I think all the chest TTKs have kind of like leveled out. I think they're all pretty similar, but somehow the EM2 is still really good and really doing well. So I'll put it up here. I think it's harder to find a long range option on the ground. Well, in this season, not as much. So I have it above the really good SMG options for that reason, because it just kind of extends your range on the battleground. But yeah, I'm sure some of you aggressive players prefer an SMG over one of these longer range options. For me, I would like an AM2 just above, slightly above these guys. This Farah, only 30 rounds, but very accurate, so it's in the let's go for me. Again, I'm taking suppression and long range over this SMG. And for FAR, you know, this isn't the old day for FAR. It's solid. I think the TTK such as TTK is solid now, just slow handling, so you're just going to prefer an SMG, but it is suppressed, has 50 rounds. 50 rounds is going to slow you down again with the ADS. So, but you know, if that's all you got, just make sure you have the drop, because there are going to be a lot of viable options that you're going to facing this season. So this for FAR, putting, I like capacity, so that's why I've got it over the Diamatti, and again, pistol control on PC. So I do like that it has 50 rounds for a rare option. The Glacier is very good. I do like it. So it's definitely, if you run the Farah, even if you don't run the Farah, like, you can use this gun and you'll be more than effective until you can get maybe a slightly better version of a gun you want, long range gun. This Grav, the new AR for this season, it's nice. It has 35 rounds. However, there are just so many good options this season. This would be B tier in other seasons. It's C now. It will get the job done, I think. So it's certainly not a bad option for a common, uncommon version. Now these Gravs, as far as I can tell or heard from my squad mates, that it's pretty hard to control at range, the Grav. It has solid TTK, and this obviously has 50 rounds. It's suppressed, it's got the barrel, so it's all kitted out for that, but it is pretty hard. I think it might end up being like a MG82, kind of can't push it beyond 60-70 meters. We'll see. So for now, I'm putting it here. It could shift around depending on that. This one I think has this has the long range barrel. So this one doesn't. So this is more like an MG82, but with the barrel, like, if it's, we'll have to see how much it helps with recoil, how much it pushes it out. This could fall back in line with this one, but for now I'll put it at the kind of the bottom of S. This Grav I actually have down near the bottom because of that lack of control. It's not suppressed, and I think if it's hard to hit long range shots, they're just more kind of reliable options. So we'll see. Grav, lot to see with the Grav here and see how it plays out. This Grav I think is actually really good. It's iron sighted, should allow for more close range, and it does have a competitive TTK up close. just the handling. You're not going to beat an AK-74U in handling, so that's why I've got the AK-74U before. But these are both amazing uncommon options, like amazing. This Krig is here, you know, the Krig's just not as hard hitting. Obviously it's gone a couple nerfs, so it's here, but it's, you know, it's accurate and it's long. You got long range capability with it, so it's still like, it's still an S tier ground load. Powers just fall here in line. That's it. That's nothing we don't talk about. This Mag-10, I'm gonna respect. I personally, I don't love the Mag-10. I think it's a better weapon for console players than PC players because it's just super fast firing, and you miss any shots, probably miss, you're in trouble. I might prefer an AK-74U over the Mag-10, but I'm gonna put it above the AK-74U. But this is preference. I think MP5 just has that TTK advantage over these two, but this is all comes down to preference. Ironhide, by all accounts, is just a kind of longer range, slower killing Howler, so nothing exciting. I wish they would put viable shotguns into the ground loot again. I kind of miss using shotguns, but it is what it is. Key haul, I gotta say, I think it's #1. I think its versatility, it's obviously one of the better, you know, True Game now call it the best sniper support weapon at the moment. So that means you're gonna cover close, mid. I think it shouldn't be too hard to get a sniper rifle or just some viable long range option. So having a PPSH just like sets your kind of secondary in order. You really don't have to get another loadout to get a better PPSH, because this one's like really good, basically meta for quads or trios. It's got 71 rounds, task force, sound suppressor. This one's got the Tiger team, so yeah, it's my #1. Krig 6 this has 60 rounds. Yeah, it's in Let's Go. And where am I putting it? Putting it, yeah, above the Grav, above that, and above the Farah, because it's got 60 rounds. This Farah only has 30 rounds, and this Krig is just missing a barrel. So yes, this is longer range because this has a barrel. That's the best barrel. This doesn't, but this has 60 rounds. So it's like, I'm going capacity. Some of you might go range. I prefer capacity. This for a rare, very good. 60 rounds on a rare gun with a scope. This could get pretty good usage. Because, you know, as we put all these legendary epic guns, but you know, how often do they drop for you? The rare, the uncommons, the commons, those are going to be the workhorses. So this is quite good. This is really good. And this Krig has no scope. That really kind of puts it at a huge disadvantage. You know, it'll get the job done, but it is slow killing. And you're going to have to be fighting against a bunch of really good weapons. So it's basically, if you've got the drop, they don't see you, you mow them down, you're good. Otherwise, don't take people on head on with that. This KSP, I guess it's the down you want to be moved. This obviously have better mobility than the Car V. I like the Car V. I think they're similar to TTK. I don't know. I just prefer the Car V, but it's your choice depending on your preference. This amp, I think this is a spotlight difference. So this is going to have better mobility. There's a lot of guns where it's like a spotlight difference. So you have to choose, like most players pick the spotlight, but some of you might not want to run with flashlight. I'm kind of like that. I like to be stealth, but I'll leave the spotlight ones above the epic non-spotlight one. MG82, you know, it's a really favorite ground loot of mine. I love the mag capacity. The TTK, great TTK, does work every season that it's ground loot. So it is, but it doesn't have range. So that's kind of what keeps it from being S tier. Other seasons probably be S tier, but in this season, I really feel like this Grav might end up being like a slower killing MG82, but I'm taking the MG82 with the bigger mag over the Grav, even if the Grav moves better. This Mac 10, very good. You know, it's just missing the task force, which some of you might prefer, but typically Mac 10 people use a task force, so that's why it's a tier below the legendary one. This Mac 10 for, again, another rare gun that's going to be really good. All these SMGs have a ton of mag, fast killing, gonna be hot, guys. It's gonna be, and girls, it's gonna be a hot season. This Diamati just above, again, another spotlight difference, I believe. This MG82 just behind that MG82. I think it's a field agent grip difference. This MG82, again, really solid, really good. It's gonna have tons of bullets. This is also really good. This, you might prefer the iron sights over having the axial, but I think both are really good and viable. This MP5, again, yeah, gonna do a bunch of work for people as a common option. Just so much TTK potential as a common option. However, there's just so many guns that have a larger mag that I think it is mid B for me. Like, I just rather have 50 rounds of a Fafar, even if this is faster killing. But absolutely head to head, this is gonna crush a Fafar. So for you super aggressive players that can manage a small clip, this is probably up here. But for me, I just prefer a bigger mag. I'm a little more conservative in my approach to this game. This MP5, again, also really good. So this is a great question. Is this has no barrel, and that's typically what a meta MP5 has, is no barrel. So technically this, I would say this epic version should be better than the legendary, but some of you might want, I don't think you're really gonna use an MP5 at range, so I would go the epic over the legendary. This rare, obviously really good. Again, like the tops of the rare SMGs here. All right, we gotta scale down a little bit here. This MP5 is here, just a stock difference. This nail gun, I'm taking the nail gun probably over the MP5. I think it has a little better damage per mag, but neither is suppressed, so your preference. This QBZ is an odd one. Like, it's not popular. I think people just feel like it's like a PP shooter. A P shooter just doesn't really, just a lot of hit marker, but it's accurate. It's got range, so it kind of falls in line. People seem to like the Farah better. But they've all got big mag. This has like a smaller mag, actually. It's a preference. If you prefer QBZ, Farah, Krig, I'm gonna put the QBZ because technically it should have a better TTK than the other two. This Palantin, really good. Not as good as the Swiss in my opinion, but as a ground loot, definitely gonna get the job done. As a sniper, I'm just long range killing with ground loot. That's gold. This DMR is slightly above that DMR. I think it's, again, a field agent grip difference. This pipe cleaner with the other one shot down people. This PPSH, again, yeah, a Tiger Team spotlight difference, so it's your preference. You want to go stealth, you can choose the epic over that. This is the top of the A guns. Yes, it's not suppressed. Yes, there's a suppressed mag 10, but I just love the kind of flexibility of short and mid that you get with this PPSH. I'd probably take it over this epic mag 10. That's just me. I'm sure some of you would flip it. This is, again, another Tiger Team difference, so I'll leave the Tiger Team above it. This QBZ, only 30 rounds. They made the legendary QBZ a like meta long range one, and then they made the other epic rare ones not. They have microflex LED, I believe. Yeah, this QBZ is behind the Farah because this just has better range capability, but they're both only 30 rounds. Some of you might be like, I would rather have these than that, and that's fine. These are suppressed. I like to play more conservatively, so I like suppressed long range weapons, but these are the aggressive toolkit. Your choice, your opinions. This QBZ, as you can see, in this case where it's not suppressed, it's definitely behind the better SMG options here. This Palantin, really good. Again, not much of a difference. I'm failing to remember what the difference is. It's a bruiser grip difference, so obviously it's going to be a little better controlled. RPD is always a solid option, but in this season it's just way further down. But you know what you're getting. 75 rounds right at the drop. It's just a solid option. It's always just a solid option and not much more. The Ledge Epic are suppressed, so I put them a tier higher. But again, some of you are saying I would rather have these dominant TTK weapons over this lumbering suppressed LMG, and that's fine. Just for me, I'm a little more conservative. I like being able to hose lots of bullets at people. This always together. These, again, not much of a difference. This Swiss is basically the same, just a difference of having a wrap or not, so one's a little faster. This Swiss, really good. Again, this will be my probably go-to double rare PPSH Swiss or a Pellington. Early on, this AUG is no different, really. Not much going on different there. Well, that's it, boys and girls. As you can see, ton of amazing ground load. They really listened. They really upped the game. It does mean things are hotter at the start. I don't know if that's necessarily a good or bad thing. I've always kind of stated I kind of like a balance. My favorite ground load time was when it was Modern Warfare, and every gun was unique. Every gun had character. Some were terrible, some were really good. That's why I got into this video making, to kind of like sort through it. Now it's kind of all organized. It's all, as we can see in this season, really good. So kind of not as variant. There's no variation there, but it is what it is. It's what we've got to play with. And I think most of you out there are actually happy about it. Happy to have these fire hosing ground loot out there. And a lot of money is going to be saved. It means a lot more UAVs going to be popped. And well, let's hope all the hackers are gone soon. I think it's under a month till Vanguard or the update, and so looking forward to being able to play without hackers. And we'll see if that changes the loot landscape, makes things even more interesting with ground loot, but it'll be fun to see. So looking forward to that, looking forward to this season. Thank you guys so much for your support. The attachment video is doing great, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys all on the next one.